What's good? What's good, everyone? What's good? I'm just gonna wait for a few people to enter the room, then we'll go from there. But man, you guys see the title. Everyone's on social media. There's no excuse to be dumb. So, yeah, that's pretty much sums it up. I don't even know why I even got to make a video. The title says everything. But I'm gonna break it down some more because we're at a time right now where it's I don't want to say it's too late because it's never too late, but you might as well say it's too late seeing the situation most people have themselves in mentally, spiritually, and physically. It's like it's just like me saying a person with one leg. Can a person with one leg run a marathon? Yeah, they could run it, but they're gonna have to hop. It's gonna be hard, but they can still do it. That's how it is. Like people can wake up and shit and really get it, but at this point, it's like you should have been already got it. It's 2024, and we at the end of 2024, and if you don't get it, then that's on you. Like people don't understand. Like this shit's get because we come into a time where it's like it's literally too late. And I don't like I said, it's not too late as in you can't do anything. It's too late as in where most people's minds are. Most people couldn't even get it right 5 years ago. So what makes you think they'll get it right in 5 years extra in the future where things is going to be more problems, more issues, and it's going to take more discipline and a sound mind and more like grounding and getting your like most people they don't want to do that because like me I've been practicing my you guys know my qigong and stuff, and for all you guys who don't practice qigong, I highly suggest you practice it. And because this thing it benefits you, and the benefits come later on, like years. Like it's like bodybuilding. Because what I think one thing I'm learning is there's the fascia muscle, and that fascia muscle is this. This is how I like to break it down. Because you guys know me, I like to break everything down very simple. Everything has a yin and yang to it. So when we talk about the muscle structure, the yang muscle structure is the tendons, the bodybuilders build. The muscle, you go to the gym rats, they want to build that muscle. That's the yang. That's like the you build, you lift, and everybody sees it, and it's the yang. Everybody, all the men, they want to. It's men are attracted to building high muscle. Women, they don't really want too much muscle. You see too much muscle in a woman, that's too much, like because it's masculine. That's the yang. But then we have the fascia muscle, which this is the feminine version of it. This is like the yin. And not saying this is exclusive to women, just like muscle. Women need muscle and men need fascia. So it's interconnected. But the fascia muscle is the muscle that is a muscle that goes over every organ, every blood cell, everything in the fucking body, the lips, the nerves, the spine, everything has this fabric. It's called a fascia. So when you're doing qigong and you're doing yoga, you're exercising this fascia and it's working it out. So this is why I say it takes a long time to break up these knots with the fascia muscle, because it's like building physical yang muscle. It takes. Can you build a fucking bodybuilder physique in 2 weeks or in 2 years or even in 3 years? You can't. It's going to take you at least 10 years. So this is the same with the healing of the fascia muscle, because when you guys have trauma, you guys experience something negative in life, and you guys get into a lot of arguments, depression. When you experience that trauma, it tenses up that fascia muscle, and over time of you experiencing trauma, it tenses it. And when you get into a PTSD state and you start reliving the trauma, then you every time you relive that trauma, it tightens that fascia muscle, and over time it causes a knot. And then this is what they say trapped emotions. So you may have like a lot of anxiety, depression, or you can't stop thinking about a certain event. That's because that a knot is, that thing is stuck in your fascia muscle, and it's like it's locking everything up. So what you do is you have to do yoga, you got to do qigong, breath work, and this alleviates the not, it doesn't even alleviate it, it eliminates the shit. But it at first it just feels like it's just alleviating it, but it takes years, because just like building a muscle, it takes years. Removing these blockages, it takes a lot of time too. So when you remove these blockages, it makes you on you have more of an emotional balance and intelligence. So this is where it comes in with the feminine, because feminine rules the yin rules the female, the emotion. So when you work on the fascia, you get your emotions in check. This is why you see a lot of niggas who go to the gym, they're more emotional because they don't work out that muscle. They're only working out their yang muscle. This is why you see a lot of bodybuilders. No, peep game. Every time you go and you see a muscular individual, notice how feminine they act. I'm not saying all muscular people. This is not me talking shit about everybody who's yoked and goes to the gym. But one thing I noticed is at least 80%, 85% of people I see that got a lot of muscle, that are jacked, a lot of them are very feminine. And in society, they have you, because everything is in reverse. So they have you thinking the things that they do is actually masculine, but its reality is actually feminine. And these people are usually the ones who are the most, they'll be quick to get upset and angry and start yelling to intimidate people, but it's coming from a place of they were intimidated. So this is why they have to build the muscle, and this is why they have to go crazy when somebody pisses them off, because they think that somebody's intimidated by them because they're big, because when they were small, they were intimidated. So they right off the bat, they're dumb because they think everybody thinks like them. You can never know what somebody's thinking. Your traumas aren't the same as mine. So these are very damaged, insecure people, and this is because they don't work at their fascia muscle. They just work at the yang muscle, and the fascia muscle is actually the muscle that actually has all the trauma. It gets rid of all the blockages, even health issues, not just mental, but health issues like mental health, physical health. That's blocked. That's in the fascia muscle. Even if you have like certain issues with the kidneys or the liver, if there's a certain tension in the fascia muscle, it's going to manifest there. And everything is connected. So the situations that happen in your life are correlated to your illnesses. So when you have a health illness, it's correlated to a certain event that happened in your physical life, every single health illness. So when you are having a health illness, this is a manifestation that something in your physical life is fucked up. And whatever that is, it manifested it. So let's just say you eat. I'm gonna make this simple. I'm gonna give you a complex example. Let's just say you eat a lot of junk food. Eating a lot of junk food is something physical, and it translates to something health-wise, such as diabetes. That's the simple aspect. But on a more complex aspect, it could be something like you are selling products for a business, or you run a corporation that's not in alignment with yourself. So therefore, it manifests as a cancer, or it manifests as you having some type of lupus. But it's a certain action you're doing, and it's because anytime you develop cancer or any type of disease, it's because you're not being yourself. Understand that. Once you be yourself, everything goes away. This is why you'll see some people, they'll eat healthy and they'll do all these exercise, and then they still get disease, because it has nothing really to do with that. And you have to be yourself. So always be yourself. But I'm gonna go back to the fascia muscle. The fascia muscle, the muscle that when you're doing qigong and you're doing yoga, this is what you're healing. This is what actually gets rid of your trauma, your issue. This is where all your trauma, your problems on a mental level, it's stored. And when you release that shit, it not only you get rid of your mental illnesses and problems, you actually regain certain memory and information and knowledge that you already knew as a spirit. So depending on where your spirit's at spiritually, you're going to get knowledge. You'll be able to be yourself more and experience who you are, because a lot of you niggas aren't experiencing life at all. A lot of you niggas are like you're like fucking you're missing something in life, and you don't know what that is. So therefore, your brain is just trying to survive this moment. You're never actually experiencing life. Like most people aren't experiencing life. They're just trying to survive. So they feel depressed, anxiety, so they want to go eat. They want to go get caffeine. They want to get high. So they're just trying to survive. So they're in a state of trauma. They're in a state of like alertness on a negative level, and they're just trying to survive. And that's where most people are in this world. They're just trying to survive. So no one's actually experiencing life. Nobody even knows what it's like to experience life. This is why everyone's always so upset, angry, and they don't know why. And it's because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So But I've been doing this qigong for about a month now. I'll say it's about a month. A few more days will be a month, and it made me realize a lot of things. Like I made it's crazy because my mind's a lot more. I'm able to like observe things in life. My mind's a lot more observant. Like certain things I overlooked and I wasn't thinking, and I got the solution to just by thinking. Because I'm like always in a rush. And one thing I realize is everybody's always in a rush. You guys are always thinking, always you're overlooking your reality, and you're not picking up the clues and things. Because you could have an answer to your question in front of you, like a lot of answers and things that I realized. It's just weird, and I could tell my energy is going up because like even like certain people, like there's a fucking gardener. He gardens our yard and shit. And I'm doing my qigong outside. The dude, he literally waves at me. I see this nigga every day. He doesn't say shit to me. He just walks by me. I'm doing my qigong. After that, he just waves at me and says like, "Hey," and like it's just weird shit that I'm picking up on, but I don't want to put it towards the qigong, but I can't help but because ever since this day, shit's been doing it. And then like even with money and shit, like I wanted to get some fucking popcorn. I had a taste for some popcorn the other fucking day, and I went to the movies to get it. I went to the movie theater, and I was like, "Can I get popcorn?" And she was like, "Oh, you can't get fucking popcorn, and you have to buy a ticket. You can't even be in the building." So I just went and bought a ticket. I was gonna return the ticket. I went and got a ticket, and I got it was to like Deadpool Wolverine. But I wasn't gonna watch that shit. I just got the fucking ticket. I went inside, got the popcorn. The popcorn was $10.20 for a fucking medium. And I was like, you know what, fuck this shit. I'm not getting this. So I was like, can I get a refund from the popcorn? They had to get the fucking manager and do the refund and everything. When they were doing the refund, because I gave the girl $10, and then I said I'm gonna pay the 20 cents on my card. And then after I paid the 20 cents on my card, I was like, I don't want this. I changed my mind because I'm like, I'm not about to spend 10, 20 on some fucking popcorn. Like, fuck this shit. So I changed my mind, and then she's like, okay. And then she gave me the 10 back. And no, she asked me, I'm gonna refund you your money, but do you want the money on the card or you want the cash? And I said cash. And then she's like, okay. And then she did something in the system, and then she's like, okay, the money's refunded, but they were supposed to refund me 20 cents. They ended up refunding me the $10. And then she gave me the $10 because there was another girl who came and she gave me I don't think she knew she had refunded it, but pretty much I got $10 extra because they gave me the $10 and then the other shit. And it was just weird. And then there was another event that fucking happened. I forgot, it was something else that happened. I think I was buying something. I forgot what I was buying. And like I was supposed to pay like $20 for it. And I only ended up paying like fucking like 10 because he made a mistake. And this was multiple times this happened. And like little shit like this been happening. And I think it's the energy because like I said, when you're doing this qigong is it you're building up your electromagnetic energy. So even when you walk, you're gonna feel, the more you do this, you're gonna feel like, the best way to put it is when you're in a vehicle and you push the gas propels the car. The car can't move itself. The gas and the engine have to propel it. Look at qigong as the gas and the engine, and you as the car. The qigong, it gives you that oomph. It propels you. So there's more oomph in your being. So whatever you're doing, when you're observing, when you're moving, when you're just being, and like just anything you're doing, it's gonna add more oomph to it. So what I'm thinking is, by me doing this, because I have a different like I'm aware of the reality a lot more differently than when I was doing qigong. And I'm noticing as I'm starting to feel different from the qigong, I'm noticing like the environment is it's like the environment kind of connects more. Like it's weird. Like I'll be at a certain place, or if I'm like, let's just say I'm trying to sell something, or I'm trying to do something, and I'm trying to accomplish something that I need. Things line up a lot more smoother and easier. Like I seem like I'm more in control. Because one thing you guys got to realize is, most of the reason why you guys are in a situation you don't want to be in is because you don't feel in control of your reality. And the reason you don't feel in control of your reality is because there's certain things that you're not doing to allow you to open up that energy channel so you can be able to control the reality, because the spirit's not going to allow you to open that channel unless you're doing certain things that you're supposed to be doing. And most of the things that you're supposed to be doing, you may not want to do because you may think it's too much, or I don't feel like doing it, I want to have fun or whatever. But this is the thing that's going to set you fucking free. So you have to always like keep that in mind, because and then it's going to get you like in control of like what's going on, like because it's weird. And like and another thing you want to, and this leads me to the title, stop watching too much fucking social media. Like a lot of you guys need to stop watching too much of that, because you watch a lot of these things and then you create these situations. You'll listen to somebody who works a 9 to 5 all their whole fucking life, and then they'll talk about how there's no point of life, I have no time to do anything, and then you watch that and then you invite that into your own life. You don't want to do that, because that's that nigga's problem. You're different. You're on a different path. If everybody thought like, oh, I'm going to be a bum, there would be no fucking successful people. There would be no successful CEOs or successful entrepreneur, whatever the fuck you want to call it. There will be nobody doing something successful because they just say, oh, I'm going to just listen to what this guy said. He worked his whole life and been, it's the same thing. Even when it comes to these female, like you guys say, oh, I can't get no women unless I'm working a 9 to 5 and I'm doing this. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like there's, especially when I've been doing this Qigong, like because when you do a certain exercise, it raises the masculine and the feminine energy. When you raise the masculine and feminine energy, you attract masculine and feminine in a positive, healthy manner. And I've noticed, like I've been doing this. This is a fine ass female walking. She was just walking. She was just like, hey, what's up? And like, just like, it's just weird. And like, I wish I would have filmed it. Like it's weird. Like it's the attention I'm getting is different and it's very subtle. It's not like something like, it's like I have to really pick up on it because I didn't really notice it. And I didn't know what it was until I'm like, okay, it's the Qigong. That's what it is, because it's the energy. Because as these things, and because as these things are happening to me, I'm feeling different. So it's not like, oh, this person did this to me, the Qigong's working. No, it's not that. It's I'm just doing the Qigong and I feel different, and I'm like experiencing the just the Qigong energy and me doing it daily. And I've been doing it for a month, so almost a month. A couple days will be a month. I've been doing it for almost a month, and I'm just starting to realize it's the last week. Like these things are happening. So this is what I'm saying. Like this shit is like this thing is real, and like this energy sustains you on physical, mental, spiritual, all levels. So even when it comes to food, I don't need to eat as much. I don't need to drink as much, and it's like everything. Anything that's a limitation, this energy is supposed to defy that. So if you're in even if you're in a fucked up situation where everyone says you're gonna be broken, not have nothing, if you do the Qigong energy and you focus your intention on what your goals and everything, is gonna help you defy that, because it has to. It's like this is why you think they don't have, because you guys gotta understand, like they don't even have children do this in PE, physical education. Why wouldn't they have kids do this? Why don't they teach you this in school? Why don't they talk about, because it has benefits that if enough people use it, it doesn't merge with this system. It's not conducive for the system. So therefore they're not gonna implement it in school, like PE for kids, and they're not gonna talk about it. You can hear obviously there's information about it because they can't censor it because too much people know about it, but it's not really marketed really like that. Like, why not? They even market yoga. Even if you go to fucking Walmart, Target, they have a yoga section. They have yoga books. I went to the Barnes and Noble. They have yoga books, which yoga is good, and that's good they have it. I'm surprised kind of they have it. But at the same time, why don't they have Qigong? You have to go on the internet for that. I didn't see any at Barnes and Noble. I didn't see any at the library. I have to still check. I didn't see any there. They don't have them anywhere. You got to go on the internet or the library to really speak on it. And even when you see it, most of these people, they're like other countries. They're like overseas in like Brazil, Africa, or like India. They're like in these countries. They're not even in the US. It's like they censor the shit out of it out here. They don't censor it, but it's not really like they don't promote it, or it's not looked at. Like it's notice that they'll tell you guys to go drink some fucking sea moss and take this and do Dr. Sebi's, which is, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that, but why not Qigong? It's free. You don't got to spend money. And like the amount of benefit you get from it is like, damn. It's crazy. I don't know why. And it makes me think like, okay, I see why. Because after I'm doing it, I can see how it gives me certain benefits. Like it's weird. Like you guys got to do it because it takes time to build this energy. This thing is a lifelong thing, but it's like bodybuilding because this is a muscle that you're developing. This is the fascia muscle. When you're doing these movements, what you're doing is you're training the body to move as one, to be calm. You're training those muscles to you're working them out. Just like you do a rep, when you're doing all these moves, it's working out the fascia muscle. This is why after you do it, you feel calm because that muscle is being worked and you're releasing the tension and the blockages. It's some real shit. You do it long enough and you have intentions when you're doing it, because when you're doing this, you want to have an intention to sustain me, sustainability, because we're trying to sustain ourselves from not needing nothing. I'm not saying don't use anything. I'm saying if, for example, if you want to smoke weed, if you want to get high, at least if you're going to do that, which I don't condone anyone doing, at least if you're going to do that shit, do it because you want to do it. Don't do it because if you don't do it, you're going to be depressed. Don't eat because if you don't eat, you're going to starve to death. Eat because you want to enjoy the experience, if you're even going to do that. But when you get to that level, you won't even want to eat to enjoy the experience, because you're going to be like, you're going to look at food the same way you look at a fucking shot and some fucking some heroin. You're like, I don't want to take that shit. It's drugs. The same. So you'll get to that level where you don't even want this shit no more, which is the level you want to be at. But if you're going to at least consume because you want to have the experience, not because if you don't do it, you're going to feel depressed and anxiety, and then you use an excuse. Well, we only live once, and I'm just trying to experience, and we came down here to, and shut the fuck up, nigga. At the end of the day, you need that shit. If you only live once, then why not just go through the 3 hours of suffering? Because you're only going to experience it for 3 hours, and after you die, you're never going to experience suffering. But once you experience suffering, you don't think you only live once. You want to be like, oh, I want to stop the suffering. But when it's something else, when it's something good, oh, we only live once. I'm gonna. You don't live by you only live once. Go suffer in a torture chamber for 3 hours. You only live once. You only have to experience it one time. After these, you see niggas, they all talk. They're all bullshit. People just speak because they're watching all these Masons, this Masonic programming and YouTube and social media, and then they watch all that shit, and then they just say these little key hook, line, and sinker words and bullshit because it sounds catchy, and that's it. They don't have no real original thought. They're just speaking out they're just a poster. They're not even real people. So how does fasting help you? And shout out to everybody in the room. I see everyone's comment. How does fasting help you in particular? The same way it helps me is the same way anything in life that helps you. Like, you need to eat, you need to survive, you need to breathe, you need to experience. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's the same with me. Like, fasting is not even fasting. Like, that's who I am. That's what I am. It's like there's no I'm fasting or it's helping me. That's who I am. It's just like me saying, how does breathing help you? How does your eyes help you? Like, the fuck, like that, you need them. It's not like it helps you, it's like you need the shit. Like, that's who you are. Like, you wouldn't, if you didn't have your eyes, you wouldn't be a human, really. You wouldn't be working as you were intended, and you'll have a problem, and then that'll be an issue. So it's like, it's something I do. And you don't want to look at, I don't even like the word fasting, to be honest. I hate that fucking word because it makes you think that, oh, you got to do something, and you got to, like, you go into some dumbass 9 to 5 that you don't want to go to. Like, oh, I got to do this again. Like, that's not what it is, really. In the beginning, that's what it is, but it's not like that forever. You want to get out of that state. It's got to be like that for at least, probably, depending on the person, 6 months to a year. You have to go through a stage of just training the body. But once you get to that level, it's like a rebirth. Like, it's like literally a rebirth. Like, you go through the pain, and then you go through the stabilization, and then it's like the rebirth of who you are. It's like a whole thing. But fasting, it's something it's something that I implement in my life. Like, I don't even want to say implement. It's just something that I do. I'm not like on a level where I'm doing it like no food, no water. That level may take me a few more years, but I do consume as little as possible. And the thing is, it's not even how much it's not even that you're consuming, more so is how much are you consuming and how the food is able you're able to utilize it. Like me, when especially me doing these qigong practices, I could eat. Like I remember I was hungry the other day, kind of like wanted to eat something, and I was anticipating eating a big meal that night. And I was like, let me just save my I'm gonna just eat something big tonight. I'm not gonna eat all day. And then I remember I was like, let me just have some like nuts. I had like a handful of nuts, and after I had those nuts, I did not even want to eat my meal. Like if I literally didn't have an appetite to eat my fucking the big meal just from eating a few nuts. So that's that's the process in the breatharian process. You're going to eat less. It's going to be less, less, and less. It's not going to be like you wake up one morning, you don't eat. This is it's a process, and you're going to, over time of you doing the qigong, the meditation, and continuing doing the fast, you're going to see yourself eating less. It's like your body can look at it like your body is able to utilize more energy from less food. You only need a little, but you can create a lot. That's the breatharian path. That's the whole qigong pranic path where they speak on, if you want to even call it something like that. Whole path of health and wellness is being able to have a very little and create a lot from it. Have a very little. You don't need that much to create. And matter of fact, like the less you have, and the more you can create with the less you have, the more like the spirit fucks with you, because they're like, okay, he doesn't even need that much, so let me just give him a lot. Because you see what I'm saying? Like once you start saying, oh, I need to do this, oh, I don't have enough time, I need this money to start my business, like that's when you don't get fucked with like that. Once you start saying, I'm gonna start my business now, and you just take a risk, then something will happen where money comes in your lap, or you may not even fucking need the money. Whatever you needed the money to do, somebody's gonna do it for free for you, and then you just get whatever, and then they do the shit for free. Whatever they did for free puts you in a situation you can use that thing to them help you make money. You didn't really spend no money. But it is what it is, guys. I'm gonna drop the link if anybody wants to join. Drop the link. Here's the link if anybody wants to join. Anybody got any questions or anything? And I'm about to do I want to do a group fast probably in the next couple days. I'm gonna start a live stream, and I'm gonna make. I know I said this a million times, but I'm gonna do it. I'm actually gonna do it this coming week. I'm gonna make a Facebook group for fasting, healing. Every day I'll probably do it once a week. I'll do a group fast, but I'm gonna have everything set up, and I want to make a fast, and I'm gonna put it on. I'm gonna make a channel. I'm gonna make a video, and I'm gonna be promoting the Facebook page for you guys to check out. Cause I'm gonna be getting on my thing. I'm gonna be getting on my motherfucking life. I want to really take this shit serious. Cause my end goal, because one thing, because I've tapped into it, I've experienced it, and I'm experiencing it now. And one thing that I know, and nobody can tell me, and I'm not speaking for everyone, this is just me, is that I don't need anything. I don't really need anything. And I know a lot of you guys may say, because a lot of people like to project, so they may say, oh, you still need this and that. Obviously, I need my fucking blood vessels and shit to obviously be have the experience of being a human to carry out the work. But you guys get what I'm saying. Like, I don't, in terms of like needing fucking food, water, material, like when you practice Qigong to its mastery level and you master it, you take it to the mastery state. This is where you literally don't really need shit. This is why you're able to see, you see a lot of these Buddhist monks. A lot of you guys look at Buddhist monks, they, oh, these Buddhist monks, they stay in a cave all day, or they're able to walk on fire, they're able to not eat, drink, or they're able to do these crazy ass feats that human beings, the average human being can't do. The reason they're able to do this shit, the reason they're able to break a brick with their hand is because of Qigong and the energy. Like I told you niggas, like when I punch, even you can say I look like I'm just punching, like I'm actually pushing a lot harder than I was before, like because it's like the energy is like it's like a gas, it gasses you up. So like everything I do has more oomph to it, has more oomph. The energy, you feel more upbeat, and the more you keep doing this, you develop yourself on a cellular level, which this makes you able to do these things. But you have to have the intention when you're doing it as well. Like this is why you have people like Ella Tom able to not eat, drink. You have these people that do that, even on a level, even on a spiritual and a physical and a physical level. The Qigong will help it where you don't go broke. You always have. You're always in abundance. You're always in joy. You're always able to solve the solutions to your problems. And no, I'm not saying problems don't happen in life, because if they didn't, we wouldn't be learning anything. But I'm saying there's a lot of things that happen in life that don't need to happen. There's a lot of stress people go through. There's a lot of things that people deserve that they don't get because of shit that they're not in alignment with. And then this allows you to capitalize on all that shit, or take it, make sure that shit doesn't slip away energetically. This goes through all aspects. So when I say defy limitation, as in not eating, drinking, that's one limitation. There's another limitation as well. Being homeless on the street, not having shit, that's a limitation. It can help you get out of. Another limitation. Oh, I can't do anything. I'm a loser. I can't get no women. Another limitation. Another limitation. Oh, I need like, but like I said, everything it takes discipline though. Nothing is like given, like everything you have to work for. This is why I don't really believe in blessings. I don't believe in, oh, this person is fortunate or have. I feel like everything you earn. I'm not saying you shouldn't say thank you and people can't do nice things, but I feel like everything you earn. Because how is it if I do some nigga shit and go get locked up in fucking the pen, people say it's my fault. But then if something good happens to me, I win the lottery, oh, you gotta thank something. But you see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying you don't have nothing to thank, but at the same time, I put in the work to obtain that. So I'm not saying you don't show courtesy and have manners, but you wouldn't have gotten that. Always remember, you wouldn't have gotten that if you weren't in a certain energy. So you got what the fuck you received. That's why I really look at blessings. Like, it's like, oh, imagine if I was a millionaire, my life would be so much better. If you was a millionaire, you'll be a different person than you are right now, because, or whatever you wanted. Let's just say you want spiritual knowledge, healing. You want fucking something that's just of a great stature, money. In order to get that, you have to be in a certain space. And by the time you're in that space and you attract that, you probably won't even give a fuck about that like that. You be caring about other shit. And the shit you be caring about is the shit your current self don't even care about. You see how crazy that is? Because it's like what you really care about is what drives you. A person who's trying to become a millionaire and they're successful, they became a millionaire at age 30 or 20 or whatever, they cared about that, where they're able to go through the ups and downs and be disciplined. They cared about it more than somebody else who's broke, who complains about money. Because the other person who's broke, who complains about money, they don't care about it to save money and not go to Starbucks every week and waste $80, where they could take that and save that and invest it in something. They don't have the discipline to learn how to invest. They want to have fun now. So they really don't want, you see what I'm saying? So you have to be that person. And by the time you be that person, it took you so much work, energy, time. You're not gonna be looking at life like, oh, I'm just trying to have fun, or I'm just trying to do that. You're gonna be looking at how to always better yourself. You always got to keep that in mind. Don't let Don't let this shit don't let like the world blind you, make you get distracted. Because that's another thing. A lot of things in this world will blind you, distract you, and you may see somebody with something, but you don't understand. Like a lot, you may see somebody, oh, this person got this money. Who gives a fuck? That nigga's a weak ass spirit. Nigga, I'd rather have my knowledge, my information, and all the experiences I've been through. I'd rather have that than what the fuck your little weak ass spirit has. Nigga, I've done that shit a lot of times, nigga. That's nothing. Even if you have $1 million, nigga, if I have the $1 million you had, I'll have more fun with that $1 million. I'll have more things to do with it. I'll be able to create more with it. With that $1 million you have, you can't even, because you don't even have the mind like I have. So there's limited things you can do, experience, feel, think, and do, and with that million, because you don't even have the spirit. So I was like, nigga, fuck your shit. Like, that's how I look at it. Like, I'm like, I don't even want to be here. Like, I'm more intelligent. I'm the fuck. That's how I look. But other people, they be like, oh, something wrong with me. I'm this. I've never been a fucking problem. Not with me. And anytime I did get some type of negative thought, like, or whatever, I always remember it wasn't me. Like, so I have to snap out of it and be like, okay, that's not me. That's a blockage that I have. I remember there was one time I kept fucking, like, I was depressed. I had anxiety. And I remember I cracked my neck. And when I cracked it for like a fucking like 3 seconds, my anxiety was gone. It was like, it was down. I was like, what the fuck was that about? This was like years ago. And then like fast forward now, I'm doing stretches every day. And I'm like, that's what it was. It was my stretch, because I used to have headaches and depression. And I used to always be like, something's wrong with my brain and something's in my head. I need surgery, or my head's always hurting and I'm depressed. Something's in my mind. And I cracked my neck. And then when I cracked it, I felt calm and I started laughing and shit. Like I felt relaxed. And it's like, that's what it was. It was because of tension. That's the fascia muscle that I was explaining earlier. It holds the tension in it. And then when it holds tension, not only it causes depression, anxiety, and mental illness, it also causes it changes your personality, so you can't be yourself. So like, let's just say you see a nerd in school that gets picked on. People who get picked on and bullied in school, that's not really who they are. They're not really a bitch ass nigga. They just have a blockage within, most likely, their fascia system from trauma, PTSD or something. And then depending on the individual, because everybody's different, but some people, it may manifest in like the neck region where it suppresses certain things, or may manifest in the shoulder. But anyways, it was suppressed. And then now it makes it harder for you to speak up for yourself. So now, like, somebody does something, like when somebody like does something, and then the person like, oh, this person's a bitch, he won't fight back. A lot of the times it's not really because they're scared to get in a fight. Is just they're scared of expression, because it's like something weird. It's scared of expression. And they have to try to get over that. So then people think, oh, it's a bitch, you ain't doing that. Because if that was the case, that's why it's eventually sometimes the push a motherfucker too far, they end up going crazy on your motherfucking ass. I remember somebody, he was talking hella shit to me and this was in high school. And I never really said anything. I just like let it go. But then he threw a cinnamon bun at me. And I don't even like the smell of cinnamon like that. And when he threw the cinnamon bun, that's what pissed me off. And I had a cup of noodles and I threw it in his face. I threw it and it missed. And then I had like a little bit left, and I threw the rest in his face. It was like half the cup. I threw the rest in his face. That nigga started crying and shit. And I got suspended for 5 days after that shit. That shit pissed me the fuck off. But that was the example of like, because he was saying shit to me, and I just didn't want to say nothing. And it wasn't like I was scared. It was just, I just didn't feel like saying nothing. It was like, whatever. Because I also have a Mars conjunct Saturn. So sometimes my aggression, it has to be really pulled the fuck out of me, like my aggression, like to really get me to be very angry to do something to you. But like, he was just saying some shit, and I was like, whatever. But then once he threw something on me, laid an object on me, that's when I got pissed, and I was like, oh hell no, I threw that shit in his fucking face. And then they tried to make it look like I was at fault and shit. The teachers, everybody, like I was at fault. But like I said, the fascia system, it holds the trauma, it holds all the emotions, everything. Depending on the region, it's gonna restrict that, and this causes pressure on your nervous system. So this is why, let's just say like you going out in public, and somebody comes out the door, and you come out the door, you say, hey, how's it going? Or you may say something, but you don't control you're not controlling exactly what you say. Or like, you'll say thank you, or you'll say something when you don't want to say. Like, have you ever said something, and then after you said it, you wished you didn't say it, or you're like, why the fuck did I say that? That's because your nervous system may have blockages on it, and you're not able to fully control. This is what Qigong does. It brings you in the present moment to be able to control your everything about you, your emotions, your thoughts, the actions you do, because you need to learn how to control. Because if you don't control your emotions, your thoughts, your actions, then this is where like you end up becoming like a slave to your own nervous system, because your nervous system has pressure on it. And when there's a lot of pressure on it through tension in the body, this causes health illness. This causes you to think a certain way. Certain, like let's say you get jealous for no reason, you get angry, you get upset, or somebody who was fucking with you in fucking middle school, you'll think about it every now and then. These are blockages you have to release. Once you release this, then this sets you free. So you still remember, but you're able to look at it from a different perspective, because the energy is able to flow through the nervous system correctly without any type of pressure on it. Because we're naturally happy beings. We're all happy. But when you have a pressure on the system, it's like somebody putting pressure on a water hose. It can't flow. So now the happiness, it can't flow. The calm demeanor, the calm state of being, it can't flow. This is why I say nobody is truly lazy. Nobody is truly depressed. People are just dealing with extreme blockages. And since corporations make billions of dollars off people's blockages through the criminal system, through the porn industry, drugs, whatever, anything that's a vice, they're not going to speak on it. They're not going to teach people how to do it. They're going to make you look like you're the bad guy for feeling a certain way. When reality is, like, if people knew this and practiced this, most people wouldn't even have the problems that they have. Most people wouldn't have the issues. A lot of people wouldn't even be in jail. Imagine how many people rape people, murder people, commit certain like fucking heinous crimes. Like, a lot of that shit is because of blockages. The mind, if you don't take care of your mind, the mind can put your spirit in a fucked up state where I could, like, I could understand, because I was in a dark space mentally at one point. And when I was in that dark space, like, I was learning, and I was like, because when eventually when I get out of that dark space, I want to be able to learn. So when I was thinking, I was like, I'm going through all this and I have the knowledge I have to heal. There's people out here going through that same shit I'm going through, and they don't have the knowledge. And once I got to that conclusion, I'm like, this is why you see these people out here that just spaz out. You see these murderers, these people crazy. A lot of these people are very angry, have a lot of blockages, because depending on how tense the blockage is, all has to do with your karma, your experience, whatever. Some blockages are so intense, they may cause somebody to rape children, and they literally can't control that. They literally can't, because they have so much dark karma and energy from past lives that their desires are so hard and so intense that they will go and rape a kid, and they literally, in their mind, they can't control it. That's how bad it is. That's why you see this shit happen daily basis. And you guys say, why didn't they just, a lot of these, if the fascia muscle and the blockages get so tense, it can cause a man to go mad. It can cause you to want to kill yourself, want to kill somebody, want to rape. This is why you want to always, and this, in order for it to get to that level, you have to really have some very deep karma coming into this life. There's nothing that it could just come into and you just develop in this life. Usually that has to do with you coming into this life with a lot of karma, because the more negative karma you have, the more you're clinged on to your desires. And when you're clinged on to your desires, it creates negative situations. So there's all these people that come in here, they so clinged on to a desire, it makes them go to jail for life, or it makes them get killed because of something they did. They end up doing something to the wrong person. And then, you see what I'm saying? But usually blockages that intense nature develop from a lot of energies from past lives coming into one life. And then it's so much energy, because like I said, at the end of the day, whatever you put out, you get in. Sometimes the shit can be so intense where the spirit, I don't even know if it can get so intense. The experiences that the spirit's gonna have to go through because of the blockages, it's just so bad. That's why you see some people who just going through, like, just very fucked up. It's like, you don't want it to get to that point. He said, Qigong live stream you did recently was good. It helped me clear my mind. That's what's up. I'm gonna be doing some more Qigong, so stay on the lookout for my future videos. I'm gonna be doing a lot more of those. Be doing a lot more, and stay consistent with it. Like I said, if you when it comes to Qigong, if you don't stay consistent with Qigong, you're pretty much having an energy abortion. Just like they have an abortion, the baby develops and then you kill the baby. When you work Qigong for like 4 weeks and then you stop, you're aborting all that energy. So you want to keep the energy building, make it a lifestyle. The more you do it, the more changes you're going to see. The more you do it, the more changes you're going to see. Like it's a building effect. It builds on top of each other. It's like a muscle, because you're developing the fascia muscle. When you're doing yoga, Qigong, breathwork, this is all exercising and removing the blockages of the fascia muscle. Fascia. That's what it's called. Look it up. Hold on. That's the name of the muscle. So it's not a muscle. It's like it's a coating, or it's like a fiber. I'll say it's a muscle because it works just it looks like the muscle fiber. So it's the yin version of the muscle. It's the yin and the yang. Yin is fascia. Always remember, yin is the fascia. This deals with the spiritual, more the spiritual side, more of the emotions, releasing trauma, blockages. This is yoga, Qigong. These are more smooth, feminine, you see? Then you got the yang, the muscle. This is like that muscle. The cuts, the gym. That's like the niggas goes to the gym. That's the yang. You want to work out both of these. They're both important. But a lot of people, they don't work out the fascia muscle, and this is why they feel tense. This is why when you do yoga for like about 2-3 weeks, you start noticing every movement you do flows. Like it feels like everything you do, it flows. I'm just going to like fucking handle my business. I'm like in a flow. My body is flowing. This is how the body's supposed to be functioning. This means the energy in the fascia muscle is not stagnated. It's loosening up. But when you do these Qigong exercises longer and longer, the energy, it builds. And once you set the right intentions and you do these, you can actually, it can sustain you, this energy, to the point where you don't even need to eat no more. And I know this, it's affected my appetite as well. Like I said earlier, I just ate some nuts. I anticipated, this was like a couple days ago, I was gonna eat a big ass meal at the end of the day, and I wasn't even hungry. And then like the middle of the day, I kind of felt like, I kind of wanted to eat, because like me, I don't really get hungry. Like when I eat is more like a pleasure thing. And for me to get hungry, I have to go at least probably over 5-6 days before I start getting hungry. But with this Qigong, even if I were to go 5-6 days and end it, if I just eat like some nuts, I'll be good, because the little food that I put in my body's able to take more and utilize it more. So this is where when I ate the nuts, I didn't even feel like eating the big meal. I just ate the nuts as a snack before my meal. Like I can't even, like if I want to eat something at night and really to eat it as far as enjoy it, I can't even snack, because a little snack would just ruin my appetite, because I'll be full, or I wouldn't even feel the need to eat heavy. And that's one thing I noticed when I started after probably like a couple weeks after I started doing the Qigong, I noticed that. Let me read some more of these comments. I forgot to copy your exercise. Got to get on it. Yeah, man, you got to get on this shit. Like for real. You don't sleep on this. Do this. Just at the end of the day, it's free. It's not gonna cost you a dime. It's just gonna cost you time. But what else are you doing? If you can't take 30 minutes 2 times a day out of your life, 40 minutes 2 times a day out of your life, you should be able to do that. And then the thing is, though, once you keep doing it, you're gonna want to keep doing it more. It's like you gotta want to like it's something that's natural. Like you like doing it. Like I said, don't like if it's something that you don't want to do, then don't do it. Do what you really want to do. Like me, when I do this, I enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, then don't do it. A lot of people, they sleep on this exercise. They don't even really, it's not even really spoken about really. Like the information about it is really not that much information. Like they're out there, but it's, and even the information out there is mainly just people speaking about it from like such a superficial point of view. Oh, it makes you relax and it calms you down, or like they don't talk about it like how to take this shit to mastery levels, to defy the limits of the body, of reality, and like to kind of stretch the limits a little bit. Not defy it per se, but like to stretch the limits. They don't speak on it really. Like if you have a few people like Ella Tom, he's like one of the people, and then his other brother's named Jerome Shaw. I fuck with them. Like they those like when I look at other people do qigong, I mainly look at people who are doing it, who are breatharian, liquidarian, or they're somehow using it to defy the limits of the human body. Those are the people I respect and I learn qigong from. If you just some nigga who just does it and you just live your, I'm not saying anything wrong with that, but I like to learn from people who are taking it to that level, because that's where I want to take it. Because they're utilizing the energy the way it's ultimately intended to create self-sustainability. Everybody wants to talk about sustainability and all this dumbass shit with climate change and all this crap. Oh, sustainability, and we need a fucking ugly ass EV because it's gonna save the fucking, it's gonna save the environment, because the EVs and the farting cloud cows are gonna ruin the environment. So we gotta be sustainable. But nobody talks about fucking sustainability for yourself. So you don't need food, water, or you need very little food and water. Because I'm not trying to just teach people no food, no water. Very little is good. If you just eat once a week, very little, or you just consume liquids, or your consumption is down, I respect that. I respect that. If your consumption is down, and then this is also going to lead to material consumption down, because once you start developing this energy and this inner joy within you, and I'm talking about real inner joy, not just this other shit, because there's inner joy and there's contempt with your spiritual purpose. We all have contempt with our spiritual purpose once we embark it. That's what you see most of these other people talk about. But when I'm talking about real joy, that's something that's cultivated through these meditations, these practices, in my opinion. That's really what's cultivated, that joy, that true joy, because that allows you to really not give a fuck, like on a certain level. This is, like I said, if you guys think I'm just speaking out my ass, why do you think there's some people who don't need as much? Like you'll see some people who need like a big house and a whole bunch of cars and all this, and you see somebody with very little. Or on the other hand, you may see a homeless person with nothing and he's miserable, and you see another homeless person that's more miserable, that's more broker than him, and they're happy because they have a certain level of joy where they don't need external things to make them happy. So this is why it's saying you need, and when I say need less, this doesn't mean you're broke or you don't have abundant. There's a difference between being broke, being not needing, and being broke, and or not needing and being able to have whatever you want, but you just don't have the urge to want to do it because you have so much that joy within you. You see what I'm saying? That's what it is. It's not about giving a fuck or forcing yourself. It's about, I can go and get anything I want, but I really don't give a fuck about this shit. Cause like I'm more like, you see what I'm saying? Because one thing I noticed, like I used to like clown on people, like they'll be like, oh, I go hiking, or I go camping, or I go do this, or I like to have nature walks. And I used to look at people like that, like that's some corny ass shit. But when I really look at it, it's not like they give a fuck about the trees or nature. they just developed a certain level of joy, energy, whatever you want to call it, within, where therefore they're able to enjoy the moment of being out there. So because like me, like when I'm out, like little things that I used to not like to do before, I've noticed like it's a lot more it's a lot more fun. Like to just go walk down the street, it's more fun. That's compared to before. Like I don't mind. Like I remember I was like, let me park over here. I don't mind walking. And I used to not like walk. I used to like I used to walk only if I had to walk. As soon as I got a car, you just like fuck that. I'm taking my car. Now like I don't mind. Okay, you better slow the fuck down. You kept backing up too damn much. And like now it's like I don't mind walking and shit. And even when it's weird because I'll be like I'll park somewhere and it'll be hella far and I'll see somewhere closer. I'm like I could just park there. And then I'm like, no, I'm just gonna park over here because I don't feel like going over there. But it's not that I don't feel like going over there. It's I actually want to walk because if I bet before there was no, I don't feel like it was. If I seen one, I'm gonna walk as less as possible. But there'll be little things that I would do that will reinforce that I actually like doing it because I have to remind myself like I actually this is enjoyable. I'm not like it's weird. So like I'm noticing that, and it's like it all has to do with within. It's all within. It's not I give a fuck about the trees or I give a fuck about this shit or that shit or this makes me happy or I don't need anything because I'm some minimalist. No, it's I'm happy within. I don't need that shit. That's what you're developing yourself to. And if you don't want to develop, if you want the material and you want to then do that. That's what you have a right to do that. It's just if you want to take that path, you can't complain that the Masons and this fucking man isn't giving me this and they need to lower inflation because who said, and I'm not saying they shouldn't, but like I said, like a lot of shit people complain about they don't need, and a lot of shit people complain about they'll be dead if they had. So like a lot of things people don't even fucking need. So like I said though, it's like let me read some more of these comments. Weak spirits get everything up front. Not really. I want to say weak spirits. At the end of the day, weak spirit get their ass whooped just as bad as any other spirit. Like there's really no like, oh, this person, because you could say, oh, they get. I don't really even think anybody gets it easier because what you may think a new spirit or a fucking a weak spirit may do, and they get privilege or they don't get privilege because at the end of the day they don't have the consciousness, they don't have the awareness like you, so they're gonna make mistakes in life. They're gonna make mistakes in life that you probably wouldn't make. This is why when I tell you guys to stay off social media, because a lot of you guys are advanced spirits, especially if you're watching my channel and you resonate and you've been following me, you're advanced spirits. But then you guys go watching these weak ass channels, these fucking anti-natalists, these fucking red pill, or these fucking just, I don't know, these goofy ass niggas. Just watching all these dumbass people that just speak about what the Masons want, and then you start to take on their program. Like there'll be some fucking bum ass, no life, no pussy getting ass nigga, and he'll say the reason he has no life, he don't get pussy, and he doesn't have no money is because the system is against men. And then you watch this shit, and then you get so upset and you get so connected to his message and you get so upset that you invite that into your reality. So you're like, pretty much you're like, if I'm not right, I don't want to be wrong, or if I'm wrong, I don't want to be right. So this is the way the system is. They're against men. So there'll be a situation that presents themselves that's actually good for you and you're a man, but then you will subconsciously block that just so you can have that self-fulfilling prophecy of the world don't treat men like shit, so you can confirm. And then you guys be inviting this shit, and it's so crazy. Like it's weird. Like people don't. This is why you have to love yourself. Like this is one nigga, right? His name was JD Fryer. This is one of my trolls. Some of you guys remember him. I used to be cool with him, and then he got mad at me because he thought I was talking about him one video, and I wasn't. And I was cool with him. I just was talking to him, and then and then he started making videos talking shit. So that's where it started. But anyway, this nigga was like saying like how women don't pay him attention, and all the women say he looked ugly. He made a video about this about a couple years ago. And there was this female that was like in his chat talking about like, oh, what's your email? We can hang out and let's do this and that. And he was literally cussing this female out like, you crazy bitch and this and that. And in my mind, I'm like, this is an example of somebody who doesn't love themselves. Because a person who doesn't love themselves, even when somebody goes and shows them love, they're going to create a situation where they don't see it because they have to always live out that. This is why you always want to heal your pain, your trauma. And you can't, like a lot of you guys have you guys want certain things, but then you don't get it and you think somebody's holding you back. But if you got those things right now, you will fuck it up. You'll fuck that bag up. You'll fuck that relationship. You'll fuck it up. Or something will manifest where, like, even if you do get it, like I said, you made the person you wanted to get and you didn't do the work. You meet the female and they just say everything's in check and you got all the nuts and bolts screwed. The female gets hit by a car. And it's reality like, oh, everything always happens to me. It's no, because you didn't do the work. So it manifests that shit because you don't have free will like that. And you didn't come down to earth to have fun and live. You came down to earth to do what you have to do and experience. And through that experience, you most likely you will have fun and experience what you want to experience. But that's not what you came down here for. So once you realize that, you understand it, then you see how the game is, and it allows you to not waste time. And you be careful what you watch on social media, because a lot of these niggas who talk all this shit on social media, they're lost. They don't know the information I know. They don't watch the stuff that you watch. So you watching them thinking they got some knowledge, like they don't know shit. Remember that saying, if you know better, you do better? Most people, they don't know better. Even if you tell them, they still won't know because they're ignorant and their mind can't comprehend it. So they have to wait a few more lifetimes for them to know. Then once they know, then they're going to do better. Just like you know, and you do better. You say fascia is not a muscle. Oh, and I'm gonna get to your other comments. I just seen this comment right here. I want to address it. It's like fascia is not a muscle. I just use it as a term. It's the yin and the yang to the muscular structure, though. At the end of the day, it's a muscle for yoga. It's the muscle for qigong. When you're doing yoga qigong, you're exercising that connective tissue. That connective tissue is being worked. This is why you feel calm and at ease after the first session. It's because that connective tissue is being worked. But I just call it a muscle. But I would say it's still the yin to the muscle, though, because the muscle is the muscle, and then that's overlaid over the muscle, and that actually has an effect on the muscle if that's not taken care of. This is why you have tight muscles, because the tight muscle is not the muscle being tight. It's that connective tissue being, like you said, the fascia being squeezed from the tension, and it's putting pressure on the muscle. So it still has I look at it as it's just like a muscle. You can work it out. It's a spiritual muscle. It's the closest thing to the spirit in terms of muscle and working out and exercise. Just like they have bodybuilding, you have deadlifting and bench press, qigong, yoga, breathwork. Breathwork is cardio. Qigong and yoga is fitness training. So qigong yoga is the fitness training. Breathwork is cardio. It's like the spiritual cardio. It's like it gets your organs moving. It takes a lot more like work and you got to breathe a lot, just like when you run. So it's like the cardio. It's the same thing. It's like the spiritual. You want to make sure that's worked out just as much as muscle. Because just like when you build a lot of muscle, you look good. You build that up, you're gonna be looking spiritually good. You be able to get more bitches than a nigga who fucking works out and goes to the gym and he spend his whole fucking life trying to get big and get muscle. This surround supports small. Yeah, it supports all this is why when you do qigong, remember I told you guys, when you do like these certain movements and you move your hand, it works out the organs. It works out the kidneys. Like if you when you do the little, remember when I told you guys the eyes and I have my hands at a cup and I'm doing the eye, that's working out the eyes, it's working out the liver because the liver's connected to the eyes and they have the kidneys, the ears is connected to the kidneys. It's all connected. So it's adding energy to these organs. You still gotta fast, you still gotta do other breath work and stuff to really cleanse the organ. But Qigong, breath work, fasting, that's really all you need to really repair the body. It takes no money, no at all. It takes it's free. You don't got to spend money on herbs, none of that. You just got to make it a life. The only cost it takes is you got to make it a lifestyle. That was me in school. I was always the one to throw the first punch. Yeah, for real. Yeah, less thoughts, the better. A lot of people, like, that's the thing. Like that's another thing. You want to eliminate. You don't want to. You can never eliminate the thoughts, but you want to be in control of your thoughts. It's not about eliminating because you're always going to be thinking. It's about controlling them and having one single thought at a time. Once you start thinking all over the place, that's a problem. Once you start having thoughts that you can't control, that's a problem. You want to have one single, when you think about something, make sure it's one thought and you could think about it. Because when you're able to think about and have a clear mind and think at one thought at a time, you're able to manifest a lot more than when you have a whole bunch of thoughts on your brain. So it's about, because you can never eliminate your thoughts. That's impossible. But you want to be able to control your thoughts. And when you do have a thought, it's one thought at a time. And if it is more than one thought, you're deliberately doing that. So you're deliberately making the thoughts. But you want to be able to control your thoughts, have one at a time, and yeah, pretty much, yeah, that. Control your thoughts and have one at a time. Not have them come up out of the blue. Like you see something and then a thought comes up. That shows you have trauma you have to release. You have blockages, things you got to release. Because when you're in a calm state of being, none of that phases you. You don't care about that shit no more. You don't care. It's not that you forget. You don't forget nothing. You just look at it from a different perspective. You look at it from a higher perspective, like that was there to teach me. That's not me. That's an experience. But you can't look at that right now because you have the blockage. And the blockages are supposed to be there because you came down here to learn a lesson. So the blockages are here for you to experience the pain, experience the turmoil and all that. So you can work through it and you know how to work through it. And then when you come out of it, you can look back and be grateful for where you are and learn from the experience to be able to teach others. That's what it's meant for. So it's not like the blockages are like completely useless. Like sometimes they're here because they're supposed to be here to have us. They're like a catalyst to grow. Because once you release that blockage, once you really release that shit, you're able to really, then that's really what they call the awakening, the knowing who you are. Once you get to that certain point where everything just, but then it takes time to get there. Like I said, it takes time to get there, depending on the individual. Some people it's quicker than others. Some people it takes a lot longer. But you don't need to be comparing yourself to other people. What are your thoughts on consistent yoga practice? I think it's very, very good. Very good. Everyone, in my opinion, should be doing yoga. Yoga pretty much fucking gave me my fucking life back. It helped me. Like a lot of like just, and when I say yoga, like don't like I have to really like say this because people are gonna like are just very stupid. When I say yoga helped me, I'm not saying like, oh, I'm attached to it, like I need it. Like I'm saying it as in like I had a blockage And like I was already who I was supposed to be when I was born. But life experiences and trauma and things, it creates blockages. And then we have tools such as Qigong yoga that can help in removing these blockages to have us be who we were already. So we're not being something that we haven't been, or you see something we're not. I'm not just saying, oh, I'm just gonna be this, or this thing is helping me be this. No, I'm already this. It's just these are tools that help me release the blockage. At the end of the day, all yoga is stretching. If I could turn I don't even need any type of bands, any type of tools that I can stretch out my whole neck. I don't need it. All you got to do is twist your neck, hold it. And a neck exercise that I want to tell you guys is the one I just learned, and this is a very good one. This one actually released a lot of my neck over the past. I've been doing it ever since I started Qigong, because the Qigong workout that I do, in the beginning they have you twist your neck, and that shit really helped release a lot of the clinks in my neck. So I'm gonna add that to my yoga, and you got to do it like you got to turn your neck in a way where like look every direction your neck turns. So you start here and then you look down. You want to keep doing that, and you want to just do that. I'll say 9 times on one side. Then do you want to reverse and do 9 times on the other, and do it very slow. Like do it at the speed I'm doing it. Like really make sure you get the kinks and you get every corner. You turn your head and you look in the direction, and really do that like 9 times on each side. Probably 2 sets of it. Don't overdo it. If it's 9 is too much, do it until. But you want to really loosen it up. Do that. After like a couple of weeks, you'll notice just doing that alone, you're gonna notice a big change. Because I noticed like my neck feels a lot more like it's like I used to stretch my neck with the other one, and that's really good. But this one, it got like a bunch of stretches in areas that I never really hit probably. So I felt like way more. But I just add that after my yoga stretch. I add that, or probably before it, or I just do it throughout the day. And I be doing my shit anywhere. I be doing my shit anywhere. My yoga, Qigong, really crazy. And people be, it's funny though. People be like fucking. I was doing my Qigong, some dude just waved at me and shit. Like he's like, "Oh, how's it going?" And like I see this guy every day. He never says nothing. I'm doing my Qigong, and I know it's because of the energy though. It wasn't because I was doing it. It was because of the energy. It's just weird shit. Certain weird shit be happening. But like I've only been doing this for 4 weeks. This is nothing. People say like the major changes start happening like after like 3 years, 2 years, after like 6 months. Ella Tom said 4 months is when the energy builds, but then I'm seeing other people say like it takes years to build it on another level, on a certain level. But fuck, get the hell out of here. Damn, fly. Do you practice Tai Chi? I don't practice. I practice Qigong. Some of the moves I do are from Tai Chi, so I guess you can say, but I don't practice the whole fighting stance. It's funny because I always wanted to do Tai Chi. Like years before I knew anything about Qigong or even yoga, I was like, I want to do Tai Chi. It looks kind of interesting. I want to learn Tai Chi. That was probably my spirit trying to get me into this. There was something I want to tell you guys, that I had a theory about something, but fuck, I forgot what it was about. It was something about one of these current events that happened. Damn, it was something I want. It was a theory that I made. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but it was something. I think it was about one of these rappers. Fuck, what the fuck was I gonna say? Damn, it was something I want to tell you guys. I literally forgot. If I remember, I'll tell you guys. But it was something that they showed something on the news, and then I was like, something just made me just hit me to make me think like this might be. It was something to do with like one of these rappers that got killed, I think. Fuck, I forgot. If I remember, I'll tell you guys. Damn. Because there was like a lot of these rappers been getting killed lately, and something made me just kind of think. Fuck, I don't know if that was it. I don't know. If I remember, I'll tell you guys. Yeah, because it was something. Maybe it was about the president election or some shit. It was something that I had a theory on, and I was like, I'm gonna make a video about this. Fuck. It was hella deep too. It was like something that was going on. Damn, I hella want to remember. If I remember, I'll let you guys know. Say that dude JD Fry was funny as hell. Yeah, I think it was funny. He's like, oh, there was a streamer and some. I think. Wait, I think that's what I was gonna talk about. Streamer in some Asian country. Fuck. I think I don't think this was what I was gonna talk about, but I had some. I was gonna make a video speaking about this as well. The streamer in that Asian country that died. That shit was crazy. If you guys didn't hear about that, somebody I guess they ate for 14 hours straight, and then their stomach exploded. So like, if you're eating for 14 hours straight and your stomach explodes, that proves my point that food kills you. Food isn't healthy. Because if I was doing Qigong energy to sustain myself, or if I was doing something like that was actually healthy for me, it wouldn't kill me if I did a lot of it. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, the fact that she died from food, even if she ate for 14 hours, that shows you it's dangerous, because when food goes in your stomach, it's not healthy because she put too much of it and it killed her. So like, it just told you like food is not healthy. And then the mental mindset, the depression, the anxiety, the mental illness she had to be in on a mental level for her to even be in that state. It just shows you how crazy like that this shit is. And then they pay her money on fucking social media, and she got paid for those fuck things and everything. But that's stupid. You retarded. I don't even know how you can even eat that much. I can never eat that much in my fucking life. Like, that bitch is crazy. You think there would have been somebody in the family who been like, hey, it's not worth it. But I've been doing yoga consistently, but sometimes I have moments where I feel lazy. Yeah, we gotta fight through those moments. Those moments are gonna come. It's not like, it ain't like those moments aren't gonna come. Like, those moments are gonna come all the time. You don't feel like doing it, but you have to just keep doing it anyways. It's like, you just look at it like, you don't do you feel like fucking breathing? Do you ever say, I don't feel like breathing? You never say that because you know you have to do it. If more people are programmed to like feel like they have to do something if they want success, then they'll be more easier to do it. People only question things that they don't have faith in. If you truly have faith in something, you wouldn't be too lazy to do it. Even if you were lazy, you'll still want to go up and do it. You only get lazy for something you really don't want to do. Because if I told you to pick a, if you work 10 hours, if you worked a 16-hour shift and you just got home, and I told you to come put this fucking baby crib together, because we just got a fucking baby crib or a gym equipment, some fucking appliance. I told you to go put this appliance together. You're gonna be looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm too tired. But if I told you I just got a $10,000 check, can you take it down to Walmart, cash it for me? I'll give you 8. You wouldn't be too tired. So it just showed you, it's when you're too tired or too lazy, or you don't feel like doing something, but it's something you know is gonna benefit you. That means you probably don't think you probably don't have that much faith in it, or you don't think you can do it. Otherwise, oh, you fuck up, bitch. Damn, you talking this shit. But you always want to like always always check yourself. Be like, okay, if I'm feeling lazy, like nothing wrong with feeling that, because I feel it too. I'm not like, I'm speaking to myself. Don't think, oh, I'm perfect and I'm sitting here. I'm like some fucking like goddamn military vet. They wake up every morning and run like 2,000 miles and do all this dumbass shit. I'm not saying I'm perfect or I'm some like disciplined person who wakes up and I am disciplined though. Like I do certain things daily, but like it could be better. So I'm speaking to myself as well. But as long as you do, when it comes to yoga, as long as you're doing yoga at least a few times a week, that's good. Like as long just do it at least a few times a week if you can. Is the key gong is more you want to stay consistent. Yoga, if you're doing like 3-4 times a week, you could get away with it because your progress is being, especially after you do it for a few weeks, your progress is being held. Like the progress it stays with you. With yoga a lot longer. Because once you change, they say it takes about 3 years for the fascia muscle to redevelop and reshape itself every 3 years. So if you have a blockage, remember I told you guys I've been doing this since 2021, and I didn't start feeling major changes, I'll probably say, into the end of 2023. That's when I started feeling major changes. So they're right about that. And this is before I even looked up information. I told you guys this shit takes years, but I learned this from my experience. I didn't learn it just from reading a book. Don't get me wrong, it's good to read books, but I like to learn from experience. And I told you guys this shit takes years. And then when I was doing the research on the fascia tissue, they said it takes 3 years for the fascia to reshape itself and to have a different form, because the tissue is very strong. It's like steel. And in order to change the tissue with one movement, it would take so much friction and energy, and it'll take too much movement. It would damage the organ. So you'll snap your neck, stack your organ, or you'll rip a body part out, because the amount of force that's needed to change the tissue, it's going to be too much, because that tissue is so strong. That's why it takes years, because every like 2 to 6 months, the tissue will slowly straighten out and flatten, and it's like layers to it. And then once it fully releases, as it releases, you're going to notice different personality changes. You're even going to notice certain fears come up. This is another thing I don't really speak too much on, but it is a thing, and I did experience it. You will have certain fears come up. I remember back in 2019, I was going to the chiropractor, and this is before I was doing my yoga. I was going to the chiropractor, and the chiropractor is just like, the only thing different between yoga and the chiropractor is yoga, you're saving yourself a lot of money, and you're doing it yourself, and you're not cracking your neck. So you're stretching. You're doing the same thing. You're strengthening out the muscle, the tissue, the fascia tissue, to allow energy. That's what a chiropractor does. And when I was going to the chiropractor, he was adjusting it, and I was still getting results, but it was very slower progress. And I remember he gave me an adjustment one day, and I remember I went home, and I remember I closed my eyes, and every time I closed my eyes, I kept seeing like a fucking like a monster. Like it was like a demon face. I couldn't close my eyes. Even when I was asleep, I always see this shit. And like I didn't even want to close my eyes. And something like when I needed to go to sleep, I'll just get so tired to the point where I'll just close my eyes and I'll be just knocked out. But I had to get so tired because I will see this thing. And the only way I was able to remove that demon face and shit was by removing the blockage. Because when he cracked my neck once, and after he gave me that adjustment, I started seeing the face. And then after that adjustment, and he gave me a next adjustment, after like 2 weeks, I'll notice I would like things would change, because it was like, because I had a fear of ants. And when I started seeing that face, it was like, in my mind, I looked at it like it was like an ant demon. And what's funny is the same day that I seen that, we had ants in our house. That's the first day that I started seeing that face. In my mind, I'm like, it's probably the reason okay, this is what happened. I started seeing a monster, and I started attributing it to ants, because just previous to that day, I started to have my fear of ants came up out of nowhere. I used to have a fear when I was a kid. It came up out of nowhere. And then the next day I started seeing his face. So I was like, this is an ant monster. That same day, we had like ants were in my room and they were downstairs. And we never had ants in that house for like over 5-6 years. This is the old house. The same day we had ants was the same day I started seeing that shit. I was so fucking scared, guys. I didn't even want to sleep in my fucking room. I remember I left a drink out and I left for 20 minutes. I came back. The drink had ants on it. I didn't know what was going on. I thought like I don't know what was going on, but come to find out, it had nothing to do with no scary shit, no monsters. This was like fears that I was going through. I was facing fears that I needed to get resolved. And the spirit created a situation where it manifested. It wasn't like, oh, it was some monster that's trying to get me and kill me. But I was in a state of being where I literally thought there was like a fucking monster that was going to kill me. Like it was literally trying to kill me. Like, and even to this day, when I see people who are schizophrenic and I see people that fucking, like they be hella scared or that somebody's going to kill them or this demon's going to get them. I feel for these people because you guys think that, oh, they're crazy. Just don't believe in it. But you can't just not believe in it. The brain gets, like, remember I told you about the tension? Some people, the tension is, the blockage is so intense, they can't help but to go along with the delusion. And that's their karma because they got themselves so caught up in that negative spiral for so long. Their karma is so intense, so they have to live through it for a certain period of time. They'll be able to get from it, but they're gonna have to experience a lot of pain. Like the people who go through shit like that, they're supposed to experience it for a certain period because they spiral so far in the underworld. You don't want to get to that point because a lot of you guys have shadow work you're doing. You have shadow work, right? We can go and do our shadow work. It can get so bad to the point you could make so many mistakes where your karma is so bad. In order for you to even start the shadow work, you have to experience pain for a certain long period of time just for you to even begin it, even if you want to do it, because you spiral so far low that your shadow work is actually going through pain. Like some people's shadow work is just to detach and not to go through shit. Some people's shadow work is to go through extreme mental illness for a period of time because they fucked up. So when I went through that state, it made me realize that I kind of like, when I see people going through shit like that, I don't even like, I can see how some motherfuckers need to be in a psych ward, need to be on pills. I can see. I can totally understand. This is why anybody who's on medication that comes to me, I would never tell somebody to just get off their pills. What I would tell you is to practice the things I'm telling you. And if you feel it's necessary or if you want to make that decision, you get off the pills. Because I was once on pharmaceuticals, and there was one point in time I thought I would never get off of them because I needed them. Like I used to have headaches and all the shit I was experiencing, the blockages, but it was so intense. I needed the shit, and the pills actually relieved it. It relieved it. So after going to the chiropractor and shit, and fast forward years later, qigong and yoga, I don't take this shit no more. I don't need no fucking pills. I can't even imagine myself even taking this shit. So that's why I don't hate on no one. But what I would say, if you are on medication or pills, I highly suggest you get off of them. And we're in 2024. A lot of people aren't on medication and pills like they were before. Like back when I was on them back in 2014, I think 2014 was the last time I took it, or 2015. Around that time, everybody was on pills. When you went on Google or YouTube and you typed in how to get rid of depression, everything that came up was take Wellbutrin, take Zoloft, take Prozac, take this fucking Alazopram, they'll tell you to take all this shit. Nowadays, they don't. We're in a different time because now it's like yoga, qigong, you got herbs. They even had a fucking depression thing you put on your head, and it zaps your brain, and it zaps to certain areas of your brain, and it connects to the neurons where it calms you down. Like it was like a thing you put, and this was made by like the mainstream doctors. This wasn't no like privately. This was like made by like a mainstream, like mainstream company. So even if like everyone's really getting off the pills now. So people are kind of waking up on that level. They even have certain herbs and shit. So I do yoga 6 times a week for 5 months. I always want to be consistent when I feel lazy because I've actually seen some positive change. That's what's up. You've been doing it 6 times a week for 5 months. That's really good. That's very good. You most definitely have some changes. I already know if you've been doing it that long. That's very good. And always remember, like when you're doing yoga and you're releasing any block, when you're releasing blockages, always remember this. If you're not releasing a blockage, the blockage is getting worse. If you're not releasing a blockage, the blockage is getting worse. When I was depressed and I had anxiety, my anxiety actually had been with me since I can remember. But 2012 is when it really hit me. And I remember when the depression hit me in 2012, I remember every year after that year up until 2016, because 2016 is when I actually started taking care of my health and making the decisions. It was 2016, but from 2012 to 2016, I'll say 3 months to 4 months, I will notice I will slightly get worse. Just like right now, I tell you guys, when I release the blockages, I get better, and how I am now is not the same way I was a year ago. It's the same thing with blockages getting worse. If you're not getting better gradually, because when you heal the blockage, it takes years. But then when you get into a depressed anxiety state, that also takes years. Don't think it just takes years to get good. And no, any type of illness, any type of sickness, any type of depression you had, that shit was brewing for a long time. This is why any of you guys who ever went through any depression, any type of illness, it hit you out of the blue. It didn't start then. It started years ago. So when you hit spiritual awakening, look at the spiritual awakening as the opposite polarity spectrum of that illness or that negative thing that hit you all of a sudden. When you have a spiritual awakening, it's going to hit you, and then you're going to be like, but by the time you get to that awakening, it's not going to be like you wake up and you're there. Or it's a gradual, like you work your way up there. But before you even get to that place, you're already a different person. So let's just say knowing yourself and your spiritual growth is here. Lower self is here. You're in the middle. Before you even get to the higher self, before you even get there, once you get up here, you're already going to be a different person. When you get up here, you're reborn. So this is how the process is. Before you even get to where you want to get to, before you even, like a lot of you guys are trying to manifest things and you want things, but you haven't been in a space. So before you even get to the space, you will already be thinking a certain way. And then by the time you get there, you'll be a different person. But this shit's crazy, man. Like, but yeah, I think that's all I got for you guys today. If anybody got any more questions or anything you want to just input, anything you want to just talk about. But I'm probably gonna do another Qigong. I'll do another Qigong workout for you guys probably tomorrow. But man, it's just I feel really I wish I would have done this a lot earlier. But there was a time I remember back in 2021 I did do Qigong. I remember I did do it in 2021. And the reason I stopped doing it because I didn't feel the results, and I think my energy channels was too blocked because I just started doing yoga like a few months prior. I was really in a dense mental state, so I really wasn't able to focus. So I remember I was doing the movements, but I didn't feel nothing. And after the workout was done, I didn't feel nothing, and I just stopped doing it. It was around like the summer of 2021. I remember I did it one time, and then I gave up on it, and then I hadn't looked into it until like 3 years later, or yeah, damn near 3 years later. Because when I picked it up again, I remember the guy was doing the movement, and I started doing it, and I felt my hands felt more like electrified and buzzing, and I'm like, I feel something now. And then that's what made me get it back into it, because before I did it, but I didn't feel nothing. So I was like, oh, it probably didn't work, or I was like, I'll just do it later. And I forgot about it. But I remember I seen the guy do it, and then I was like, let me just do it. I seen like a video of the guy doing it, and he was doing his hands like that, and I did it, and I started feeling it. I was like, oh, let me do a workout. Let me do a session. And I did a session, and I'm thinking it's because my energy was so blocked, because I wasn't able to concentrate and focus. So I think that's the reason why. It's crazy, bro. This is crazy. But I'm probably gonna end this live stream. I think I had a good talk with you guys. Unless somebody wants to join. Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna end this live stream. My phone's about to die anyway, so I hit you guys. I could come at you guys later. So somebody said, "What are your thoughts on Mercury square Mars natal?" Oh, that's what you have. Mercury depends what planet and what house they're in. A square means learn, so it's gonna be a tension. It's gonna be a problem, but it's really not a problem. It's a problem, but it's supposed to teach you. That's what a square is. It's gonna come up as a problem or an issue or a frustration, but the frustration is supposed to teach you. It's not like it's an inconjunct where it's more so it's just not compatible. So when it's squaring Mars and Mercury, Mercury is your thoughts, Mars is your energy aggression. So when it comes to your energy, your desires, your sexual aggression, just aggression in general, it's gonna be a problem with the way how you perceive it, how you think about it and shit. So what that's gonna look like. And mind you, I'm like, when it comes to breaking, I'm not really a professional when it comes to breaking down natal and all that. Like I can see it in my mind, but I'm not like Moody Mercury. Shout out to that brother. Like he really knows how to break down this stuff. Like I'm more like I can break down myself and I can look at the energy, understand it. But when it comes to breaking it down, shout out to Mooney Mercury. He be doing it really good. So check out his channel. He really breaks down. But Mercury square Mars is gonna be more so. I'll say Mercury, like your thoughts. So when it comes to like your aggression, you may let your thoughts influence you to be very aggressive. You may be very aggressive because of the way you think. So you let your thoughts influence you. So you may be thinking really aggressively. You maybe just act out based upon your thoughts and your emotions and how you perceive and how you understand things. Shit. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not really that good at breaking down no natal. I'm good at breaking it down, but like when it comes to this me like looking at the energy in terms of me like doing a reading for somebody, I'm not on that level yet. But yeah, when it comes to, but I understand it on a basic level though. Like Mercury square Mars, though, when it comes to that shit though, you're gonna have to not let your thoughts influence your aggression. Hmm. Yeah, how long is this bitch? This bitch has been here for like 2 minutes, like trying to get in this parking space. I guess she just left. Like I seen her, she was spending like 2 minutes, and I'm like, the fuck are you doing? Yeah. Do you like Doritos? Fuck no. I hate Doritos. I don't eat cheese. You must be eating some Doritos right now. That's why you asked me that. Why else would you ask me that? You must be eating some Doritos, or you must want some. Yeah, it's like it's not that bad when I think about it. Yeah, because one thing all you gotta understand is Mercury rules your thoughts. It rules how you learn, how you think, your thoughts, and how you learn and how you think. Square is learning. It's lessons. Things may happen, but it's to get us to learn. So it's a frustration, it's a problem, it's some type of like just issue, but it's gonna teach you. So it's not bad. And then Mars is your aggression, your desire, sexual desire, shit like that. So when you mix all those together, that's gonna be the alignment. So you got to mix those so that when you put Mercury in there, so you may have certain negative, like if somebody pisses you off or they say something to you, you may be in a more vindictive attitude and may want to slap the fuck out of them. Like they say, words and stones can break my bones, and words can never hurt. That's not what it is with you. Words probably can hurt, and you probably hurt somebody over some fucking words. So yeah, be careful. Don't let somebody, don't go upside the head with a fucking pan because somebody says something to you. Like try to be like, this person's dumb. He don't know shit. He's like, you caught me. I was trying to see if I'm the only one. See, I told you I'm good at reading energy. He's like, all right, guys, I'm gonna have to go. My phone just died. I'm on my other phone, and this one about to end. So I'm about to end. And let's shout out to Shoe Sub. He said, "Do you like Doritos?" I told you, nigga, you're eating Doritos. I told you I'm good at psychology. I'm good at reading energy. I knew you were eating some Doritos. You wanted some, so he said, "You got me." But all right, then I'm out.